ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मज पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। Ravana has been killed by the wonderful expression of Ramachandra's valor. Vibhishana was severely lamenting upon the death of his brother, and Vibhishana feels he is in some way responsible, although he's not. It's the sense of grief, secondary grief, that is but natural. And Sri Ramachandra pacifies Vibhishana, saying, once the person is dead, one should not keep any sense of grudge or animosity. Nothing should linger. Now, the message has gone into the palace of Ravana that Ravana, the king of the Rakshasas, has been killed. He's dead. The queen of Ravana rush out of their palaces. And as they are running in desperation to see the body of Ravana and pay their final respects and express their grief, they are falling on the ground. They're rolling in the dust. And the queen's maid servants, who are running after them, behind them as well, are picking them up from the ground and somehow the other holding them back so they don't rush like that and fall on the ground and hurt themselves. While these queens, they don't care. Obviously, the news is that their husband has died, so they are running, tripping, falling. Their hair has all been disheveled, and they are loudly wailing like a cow wails for its calf. Now, they all came out of the northern gate and rushed into the battlefield searching for their husband and loudly wailing out, "Oh, my dear husband, my lord," and running here and there. As they are running, it's not empty ground. The ground is fully strewn with heads, hands, legs, jewels, crowns, wheels of chariots, dead monkeys, dead rakshasas, and the entire soil or ground has become muddy from the blood that has been flowing from this unprecedented killing on both sides for so many days. The Mahabharata war was fought for 18 days. This war went longer than that. And all through the day, all through the night. And as these queens are running, they're crying like female elephants, full of tears, their faces wet, their hearts completely shattered at the death of their husband, and finally they come to where Ravana's body is there. And this big, massive body, black in color, looks like a heap of collyrium. And very quickly, these queens fell on the ground near and on the body of Ravana. Some fell near his head, some fell near his feet, some began to just weep, holding onto his neck. One of the queens picked up Ravana's body, head particularly, and kept on her lap and kept crying inconsolably. Another was rolling on the ground, throwing her arms up in the air and wailing and wailing and wailing, and others just stood stunned looking at their husband's body there. Now, as these women are crying in different ways out of their sadness, and they are both in unison and in turn saying things about Ravana. And this is a common theme in this later. Mandodari is going to speak, and she's also going to say something similar. But the crux of their crying is this: Yena vitrasita shakro. Oh, by who even Indra was put under severe distress. Yena vitrasito yamaha. Even Yamaraj, the Lord of Death, was put into difficulty and torment by you. Or by who? Yena Vaishravano Raja Pushpakena Viyojitaha. He by whom he fought with Vishravana, that is his older brother, and took away the Pushpaka Vimana. Gandharvanam, Rishinam cha, Suranam cha, Mahatmanam. All the great people on the universe, the Gandharvas, the Rishis, the demigods, everybody, Bhayam Yena Rane Dattam. They would look at Ravana and become scared that they would turn around and run away. So ayam shete rane hataha. Such a person who gave a mighty battle and fight to anybody is now lying on this ground dead. Asurebhya surebhya va pannabgebhya api. Oh, not just the demigods, but asuras, suras, the snakes, anybody else. Bhayam yona vijanati tasyedam manushad bhayam. He had no fear of anybody. He was the least amount bothered by anyone. Such a person, manushad bhayam, had fear of a human being. Oh, here on this ground is lying this mighty warrior who has suddenly been killed by a mere human being who walked all the way from Ayodhya, although he was incapable of being killed by anybody. And look at him. He looks on his body on the ground, looks as if he has no strength. He has no strength. He's dead. Then they said, "Oh, Ravana." They're talking to the body because in pain and distress, people sometimes speak like that. I have experienced that in my own life, where many years ago, my mother had passed away, and we were getting ready to take the body to the crematorium. And some of her sisters were still speaking to her or to that body. "We get up. Why are you in this condition?" They were so stricken with grief that that rationality obviously goes away. It's just, that's the emotion. Get up, get up. So they're speaking to Ravana's body. Your brother Vibhishana, look at him. His desire got fulfilled because Rama became his ally. Now, if you had become Ramachandra's ally, or if you had not kicked Vibhishana out, today all of us would not have become widows. and we would have all realized your ambitions. But what to do? You became hard hearted and you forcibly kept Sita in detention here. And now look at the consequences. You've died. All of us, we have been rendered completely lifeless in that sense. And all the Rakshasas have died. So there have been three calamities for one dastardly act of bringing Sita and keeping her in captivity. And all of this because you've acted whimsically simply on your desire. It's a good lesson to hear from Ravana's life. His wife's speaking, says kamam vatam, all because of kama. This is whimsically desire. Oh, I have this desire, I have to follow this desire. No, intelligence is meant to check certain desires. But oh Ravana, you've now been killed by your own destiny. You performed an act, and the consequence of it is that you had to meet your death. And then they say something fantastic. It's a subhashita, well said, something to keep written somewhere and or meditated on, because this is very helpful. So they're saying, naiva arthena, na cha, na cha kamena, vikramena, na cha agya, shakya deva gatir loke, nivirtayitum udyat, nivirtayitum udyata. Udyata means coming about, something that has come about. What has come about? Daiva gati. Daiva means providence, our fate, uh, gati, the course of movement, that providentially, when something happens in life, nobody can counteract it. A lot of people try. Some will say the stars are not aligned, and they will wear different rings. They will perform certain pujas. They will recite certain stotras. They will try this. They will try that. And these queens are saying all the things that people try. So she says, Daiva gatir loke shakya nivartayitum na. One cannot change the course of what providence brings to somebody. What are some things people will try? Naiva arthena, by throwing money and trying different things, thinking that if I spend money, I can change the course of what's going to come to me. Here, artha, not just money, it means all the facilities that one has, all the things that money can buy. Or one's artha also encompasses having friends, relatives, all of them, because it's opulence. To have friends, relatives, well-wishers, this is great opulence. Na eva arthena. Impossible for friends, relatives, anyone to change that. Na kamena. It's just that because I can sit there and wish for it to go away. Like a cat drinking milk. It closes its eyes and drinks milk and thinks nobody's watching me. Or wishing, oh, I wish it goes away. Oh, I wish it goes away. I wish this situation changes. No. Vikramena. Okay, if I cannot change it by my wish or money, Vikramena, by my strength or valor. I will move certain things. I will change certain situations. I will change the place. Vikramena, putting one's own energy into it. Cha agya, one cannot even command fate to change. All one has to do is take shelter of the Supreme Lord. Oh, my dear Lord, I am in this condition, and yet I am your servant. On my own, I absolutely cannot change anything. What I can do is remember your lotus feet. What I can do is be at the feet of your devotee. It is my resting place. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam budhav. Bhava ambuddha. I'm fallen in the ocean. And there are these massive waves hitting me left, right, and center, and I cannot swim in it. I'm drowning. Kripaya tava pada pankaja sthita dhuli sadrusham. Vichintaya. Please consider me, Vichintaya, as one tiny speck of dust at your lotus feet, because that is my place. Please keep me there. So, excellent verse as the queens are crying. Now, among all these queens is the main queen, Mandodari. She's the senior most. She herself was feeling miserable. She's gazing at Ravana's body. Dashagrivam hatam drushtva Ramena Chintaya Karmana. Ramena Achintya Karmana. Ravana has been killed because Ramachandra is Achintya Karmana. Achintya Karmaha. One who can perform activities that are inconceivable. So when one is being tormented by so many mental agitations, one may wonder, can the Lord really help me? Then this is the name of the Lord one should evoke. Ramena Achintya Karmana. Ramena. By Rama. Achintya Karmana. By one who can perform inconceivable acts to relieve us. Patim Mandodari Tatra Kripana Paryadevayat. At that time, she, Mandodari, lamented severely. Kripana, wretched. She said, oh, same thing. Oh, Ravana, you are the younger brother of mighty Kubera. And anybody, including Indra, would be scared to stand in front of you when you are angry. Kruddhasya pramukhe sthatum trasya yat api. Even Indra would shiver to stand in front of you if you were angry. Then how is it possible that a simple mortal person, human being, wandering through the woods of Dandaka has been able to kill you, who is inconquerable in the entire three worlds? How is it possible? In fact, you lived in Lanka, which is inaccessible to any man who can assume any form. But yet, you were destroyed by Rama. This is very inconceivable. It does not make sense. No rationality, no reasoning can tell us how a human being entered Lanka, or even the Devatas cannot enter, or anybody in the universe could not enter. He entered and he killed you. Oh Ravana, this Sri Rama. Now, what is very interesting is when Vali was killed, Tara was piteously crying, but she never spoke anything hurtful, offensive about Sri Rama. Here, Mandodari is also trying to say Sri Rama, but she's one. So, come as desiring all beings on the world. I think maybe he Vishnu, because Vishnu is who controls the entire creation. He has no beginning, he has no end, he has no middle, and he is distinguished by a mark of Srivatsa. Actually,
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, uh, There's a break in your voice. Is there a prob? Can you just check? Do you have any alternate Wi-Fi connection, if at all?
Uh, Maybe it's this is the
This is better now. Yes, this is better.
okay. If this is better, we'll continue from here. Thank you. And she says, so much austerities you've performed previously, you're so strong, you're so invincible. All of that has gone to waste. So one may perform all sorts of puja, this and that. But if one has animosity or vimukha turned away from the Supreme Lord, what is the point? Just this morning, I was reciting the prayer of Prahlad Maharaja, this particular prayer. Viprad Dvishat Gunayutat Aravinda Nabha Padaravinda Vimukha. If there is a Vipra, Brahmana, who is endowed with 12 wonderful characteristics and yet is Vimukha from that wonderful Aravinda Nabha, the lotus naveled Lord Ram, Lord Narasimhadeva. Better than that Brahmana, who's endowed with all sorts of qualities, is a dog eater. Shvapacham Varishtham. He is even better. Why? Sapunati Kulam. Not only does he become purified, but he purifies his entire Kula by just being turned towards you. Disposed, his heart turned towards you in service. Look at you. You're now lying on the ground, Ravana, completely motionless, dead. In fact, I told you many, many times that please don't take any enmity with Ramachandra. I told you multiple times, but you did not hear me. Why? Because your heart was filled with passion for Sita. Oh, foolish one, Ravana. While you are in this condition, Sita, who is very, very superior in her devotion to Sri Rama, in fact, she's even superior than Arundhati, the wife of Vasishtha, or even superior than Rohini, the consort of the moon, who always deserves to be respected. In fact, Ravana, the entire world, including creation, accepts the earth as the most forbearing entity. The earth is called Kshama because she will tolerate anything. That earth looks to Sita Devi to learn how to be forbearing and forgiving. Even earth looks to Sita Devi. In fact, even Lakshmi, who's very, very, is the goddess of fortune and the emblem of charm, looks to Sita Devi to learn how to be so. Because Sita Devi is extremely fond of her husband. But what to do? You had lust for her, of all the people in the universe, for her. Even when I told you, I don't think it's good for you. And Ravana, having failed to realize that the ambition you have or you had for union with Sita, the princess of Mithila, in fact, what has killed you is her chastity for her husband. Pativ vratayas tapasa. Her tapasya is her pativratyam. Her devotion to her husband. Nunam, surely. Dagdhosi, you've been burnt. May Prabho, oh my master. You did not realize, you thought you were infallible. But a simple woman's chastity has completely destroyed you. But why did you have to go after Sita Devi when I am there for you? You took so much attraction for her, but yes, she is beautiful, no doubt. But there are women in your own harem, other young ladies who are even more beautiful than Sita. Her physical charm, they are more charming. But there's so much ignorance in you that you lusted after someone else's wife. Because this is my commentary, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. One may have a very beautiful wife, chaste, loving wife, but ignorance, lust covers intelligence. That ignorance makes someone else's wife look attractive. And Ravana, why? In fact, look at me. I am Mandodari, the daughter of the foremost Danava, Maya. And compared to me, Sita is not anything. No Kulena. Look at my family and look at her family. She comes from a human fangs family. No Kulena. I come from a Danava family. No Rupena. Look at my beauty. I'm more beautiful than her. No Dakshinyena. As far as my sense of compassion, in the sense of between wife and husband, how loving she is, Dakshinyena Maithili. Maya Adhika Vatulya. Is she more than me? I don't think so. But Mohena Buddhyase Tattu, but because of your intelligence could not perceive that. Now, human psychology, that it's very hard for one woman to appreciate another woman, especially if the husband is competing and she has to compete with the husband for the other woman. Generally, it is hard. It's generally hard to appreciate anybody, especially in this case when the husband has lust for someone else's wife. Why so? What is wrong with me? In fact, I'm prettier than her. I come from a nicer family. But Ravana, because of your infatuation, you could not see it. So this death of yours has come because of Sita Devi. You forgot how we would travel everywhere and enjoy on Mount Kailasa, Mount Mandara, Meru, in the gardens of Chitraratha, the king of the Gandharvas. And every time we would go to different places for vacation, we would have so much fun. But now that sense gratification was not enough. You wanted more. And look at your condition now. So, like this, Mandodari is lamenting for more than 120 verses. But what to do, Ravana? I'm not even able to embrace your body. That body that I would embrace and touch every day. Now I can't even embrace you because your body is not in that condition. The arrows that Ramachandra has shot on you have pierced your body, that all your tendons are cut into pieces. That means your joints are all broken. And the arrows are stuck deep in your vital parts. In fact, you look like a porcupine that is full of spindles. Hmm? Although you're dark colored, your body is fully red and you look like a mountain that has been broken into pieces by the strike of lightning. That is your condition now. His body parts all broken, arms, limbs, everything, and you've been killed by Sri Ramachandra. Then she says, Vibhishana gave you such good counsel. His message to you was full, was pregnant with so much good advice. But you don't listen to him. Even your uncle Maricha told you, he gave you good advice. Your own brother Kumbhakarna and also my father Maya He gave you so much good advice, but you were drunk with power and you did not listen. What can we do now? Oh, Ravana, please get up, rise. Why are you like this on the ground, fallen like a mere mortal? Please get up. So Mandodari is speaking all these words, and everybody around her is loudly wailing and crying, and they are bathing. The Sanskrit phrase is they are bathing their breasts in their tears. And their beautiful, charming faces were looking so saddened, faced were washed with tears. While this is happening, Sri Ramachandra turns to Vibhishana and says, Vibhishana, please make some arrangement to comfort all the women. And then he told Vibhishana, please perform the funeral of your brother. And Vibhishana, looking at all of this scene, told Sri Ramachandra, I cannot perform the funeral for my brother, especially because he has abandoned the path of virtue. He has forgotten anything called good conduct. He was cruel, merciless, and above all, was completely untruthful because he has laid his hands upon others' wives. He was always intent on doing harm to others. Of course, he's my older brother. I should treat him like a father. He's senior, but I cannot respect him at all. So I'm not going to perform the funeral ceremony. When Ramachandra heard this, Ramachandra said, Oh, Vibhishana. Now, the Valmiki says Ramachandra is an expert at speech, and Vibhishana himself is also an expert at speech. One is called Vakya Gyam, one who knows what is good speech, and Ramachandra is Vakya Kovidaha, excellent at speaking. By his words, he can remove all doubts, he can pacify all painful hearts, he can pacify any distress that one person has. And so Ramachandra says, Tavapi me priyam karyam tat prabhavam anyajitam. Please, what I have done is I have been able to score this victory over Ravana because of you. I don't need to be telling you what is the right thing to do. But how much ever this king of Rakshasas has been unrightful, has been very dirty in his thoughts and actions. Although he is powerful, even Indra cannot defeat him. Though he made so many people cry. Ravano Loka Ravanaha, one who made the whole world cry. But our purpose has been accomplished. It has been done. But once it is done, he's as good to me as I am to you. That means treat him with respect, treat him with dignity, treat that body that belonged to your brother with respect and dignity. That's the right thing to do, and don't delay it. So when Ramachandra spoke like that to Vibhishana, very quickly Vibhishana changed his mind and immediately asked all of the Rakshasas uh, to collect the required items for Ravana's funeral. All the priests came there. The waters from the oceans were brought. Huge cartloads of sandalwood and 3 different sacred fires. Vibhishana ran back into Ravana's palace, where Ravana always performs Agnihotra. So there's always a fire lit, it never is extinguished. It's called Nitya Agnihotra because that's the fire used for the next day's puja. It is always lit. Vibhishana went, continued, did the puja, came back, brought jewels, firewood, and all of that was surrounded. Ravana's body was decorated with ghee and wonderful herbs, gems, covered with sandalwood. And as Brahmanas are reciting lot of prayers, Vibhishana placed Ravana's body on the pyre and lit that body, and the cremation was done. Ravana's funeral was completely taken care of. And then all of that was finished. All the ladies were sent back into their palace. Vibhishana stood right next to Sri Ramachandra in a very submissive manner. At this time, this chapter ends with Valmiki telling us Ramachandra's state of mind. Tato vimuktva sasharam sharasanam. Vimuktva. Ramachandra dropped the bow that he was holding. Sharasanam, and all the arrows that were the quivers that were filled with arrows also were left out, kept on the ground. Mahendra Dattam Kavacham cha sa tan mahat. Then he was wearing an armor that Lord Indra had given. He removed that armor and put it on the ground. That means no more fighting. Done. Vimucha Rosham. He gave up his anger. Ripunigrahat tato. Because his enemy was killed, he gave up his anger. Is an interesting thing to consider. Can anyone give up anger like that? Not possible. Giving up anger is not possible because most people are consumed by anger. Anger is the more powerful entity there. So even if a person thinks, I should not be angry, I should not be angry, anger consumes them because anger is more powerful. In Ramachandra's case, he invites anger and then he tells anger to go away. So Vimucha Rosham told anger, done with you also. You can go. Why? Ripunigrahat tato. Finish that. Tato. At that time, Ramaha sa saumyatvam became very gentle and pacified. Upagato ariha. One who has killed all of his enemies. He became very, very pacified, quiet, peaceful at that time. Then Ramachandra gave instructions to Lakshmana. O Lakshmana, please conduct, oversee, and do the entire ceremony of crowning Vibhishana as the king of Lanka. And under Lakshmana's guidance, the Vanaras immediately jumped to all parts of the world and brought in big pots waters from all the oceans. There are 4 oceans, Chatusagara Paryantam, we say. 4 mighty oceans and 7 seas. They brought water from all of that. And there bathed Vibhishana. Lakshmana did. And consecrated Vibhishana to become the king of Lanka. Vibhishana was taken into the palace, made to sit on the throne, and was crowned the king of Lanka. All this Lakshmana is doing while Ramachandra is standing outside the city of Lanka, because he had made a promise he will not enter cities, he will only stay in villages and forests. So while Ramachandra was waiting there, Lakshmana consecrated and made or declared Vibhishana the king of Lanka. With that, we end chapter 112. Now, where 112 actually ends is Ramachandra turns to Sri Hanuman and tells him, take permission of Vibhishana. Previously, when you had entered Lanka, you did not need anyone's permission because you were on a reconnaissance mission to find Sita. But now Vibhishana is the king. He is our friend, and he is an amicable friend. So the etiquette is you take his permission to enter Ashoka garden and please give Sita the message that Ravana has been killed. Vibhishana has been crowned the king. There is nothing to fear. Now, when we meet next time, I would have skipped all of the chapters that come after, not all of them, many of the chapters that come after, because it is the Sita Agni Pariksha. And I spoke quite in detail during our Sri Lanka Yatra. So we will insert those lectures as a sequence after this. So when we meet next time, we would have seen that Sita and Ramachandra are together. I highly encourage you, request you, if you want to hear the Agni Pariksha episode, please look for those classes. We will upload on our channel here so you can see and hear, not see, hear it, and relish the love between Sita and Rama. So we're going to pause there for today. Let's see if there's any reflections, questions, comments that you might have. And we will slowly progress towards the end of Yuddha Kanda. Okay. Any thoughts or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
This is
Hey,
special
long
lecture.
time no see.
Thank you very much.
Yes, yes. I recognize your voice.
It's a very nice discussion, Prabhuji, especially the section where Mandodari is lamenting, and yet she's not blaming Lord Ramachandra. She's seeing the situation as what it is. She's very wise. Very unfortunate that her husband did not listen to her, and she's in a very precarious situation. And I also like the point that what you mentioned, that when situation, well, most of the times it's like that. Situations are very difficult to overcome, and the
Right.
only recourse is seeking the shelter of the Supreme Lord.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I was thinking of saying something. That according to Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and later because he compiled the Satkriya Saradipika, where he has identified all the mantras for all the different samskaras that one should perform during the course of one's life. In the Vivaha Samskara, marriage, there is a set of 4, maybe 5 shlokas that are loudly recited when the groom and bride's clothing are tied into a knot. So we typically call marriages tying the knot. So that is both literally and figuratively tying the knot. The actual knot is in the heart, but tying the knot, and it's called Granthi Bandhanam. During that tying, these shlokas are recited. The great couples in the universe are invoked. Yatha Sita Ramayoho, Yatha Lakshmi Narayanayoho. And then they say Yatha Shachi Indra, Vali and Arundhati and Vasishta, like Vali and Tara, like Mandodari and Ravana, like Ahalya and Gautama. And there's a whole list of couples that made this wedding or this marriage follow that model. And for a long time, it was like, wow, Ravana, Mandodari and Ravana. Why would you tell a couple the model of life is the Mandodari and Ravana? But then if you compare, the Sita and Rama, the ideal, Radha Krishna at the end of it, so you have bounded by 2 amazing, the world, the entire universe looks up to the model of how their love for each other. And in between, there are different couples that had different challenges. In some cases, the husband did not listen to the wives, and the consequences were very drastic. In some cases, the wife did not listen to the husband. She had some other attraction, and the consequences were very dramatic. And yet, they stayed together, they helped correct each other, and come back onto the path. Of course, in Ravana's case, he didn't come back to the path, but it was Mandodari who did not reject Ravana. She tried to give him good counsel. So as a couple, it's the helping each other stay in the middle of the road. That's a beautiful set of verses. But Ravana did not listen, like you said. Okay, anyone else?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Somebody, I heard Anjaneya Prabhu and Shamakund Prabhu. So
Yeah, go ahead, Samagam. I'll go next.
Very, very touching lecture for me today, Prabhu, from what you said. As you were talking about the funeral of Ravana, I remembered something. It's I think from one of the Dharma Smritis, either it's the Yagnivalkya Dharma Smriti or Manu or somewhere else, where it is said that uh, whether a person is related or not, whatever be the background of that person, if somebody is dead, one should assist in cremating the person and not look at the history. And it's of course, the Dharma Smriti says there's so much piety involved in it.
right.
And here we have Lord Ramachandra echoing it in a very different sense. And what I liked was when he told Vibhishana that please conduct the funeral for your brother,
Mm.
he related it to the love that Vibhishana had for Rama. Based on that, you do it. Um, and that's where I feel Vibhishana is a great devotee. The entire theory or the basis of Sharanagati, in one sense, comes from his action. Great acharyas have commented on him. And yet, here he was, at the first thing that he was doing is, I don't want to do it.
Mm.
And it took him a nudge from Lord Ramachandra. And what helped me to understand here is it's not about being right or wrong, but it is about the relationships that we have with others who can give us the nudge. That's more
Right.
important than anything else. I like that part. And I like the part where you spoke about uh, it was just the simple aspect that he was foolish enough to just continue acting on his lust.
Mm.
Very contrast with Vibhishana. Vibhishana took the advice of Rama and cremated. Ravana couldn't take the advice. And quite often, I feel that, hey, I'm going on the path of Ravana. I wish I can also stop by. So I can put a pause onto it and listen to devotees carefully. So when I was hearing, I just felt I need the strength and the wisdom and the sukriti to hear to devotees who are helping. That's thank you.
Wow, Shankar Prabhu, thank you. Vibhishana, because of his affection for Sri Ramachandra, rejected his brother even after the death. But Ramachandra is the person that Hanuman narrates while he's glorifying Sri Ramachandra to Sita Devi. And it's a famous verse. It appears multiple times in the Ramayana. Some modification here and there, but it's the same. Rakshita swasya dharmasya परितश्च रक्षिता स्वस्य धर्मस्य स्वजनस्य परिरक्षिता. So he protects not only his dharma but for others also. And there's a whole verse. It's a lovely verse. I can't recall right now. Rakshita sarvalokasya is also there. That means Ramachandra is not only concerned about his dharma, but make sure that others will also not stray from dharma. Now, love for Ramachandra is a higher dharma for sure. And yet, Vibhishana is being taught, or at least by nudged, as in your word, by Ramachandra, that go away from this is my brother. Go away from this is a bad person. The requirement of dharma at that time is when someone is dead and you are there, you should perform, like you said, quoting Manusmriti, that you should assist and take care, because that is a great act. So don't walk away from doing a great act based on some prejudice. It's very, very refined, that, you know, common people like me, it's hard to fathom, but Valmiki is showing us. And one more thing, throughout my childhood, I've heard this example that is generally quoted by, in the Vedantist circle, it's quoted by the Vedantists, that there is a pot. Inside the pot, there is air. Outside the pot, there is air. And when you break the pot, this air mixes with that air and becomes one. Mandodari says that in this set of verses that we're reading. Mandodari gives that example of how one's life is, that the body is just like a pot that makes a boundary between outside and inside. But when the body is destroyed, the life airs mix in the totality of all the elements. So it's a valid thing, but not an argument for monism, because the elements mix. The Isha Upanishad also says, let all the 5 elements mix with the 5 elements. But that example is given as for monism. And I didn't realize until I saw Mandodari speaking it. Okay, Anjaneya Prabhu, we've been keeping you waiting.
No problem, Prabhu. My question is informative. So, what happened to Mandodari, Prabhu, after this? She went
She
in
became a
fire.
widow. No,
Okay.
it doesn't say she went into the
Okay.
fire. But she just says we've become a widow.
Okay, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so nice to meet you this weekend, and also very, very wonderful class, Prabhuji. And I like the words when you said Bhashajna and Bhashakovidaha. Both of them are very experts in speech, Rama and also Vibhishana. When you say Bhashajna is Vibhishana, right?
Vakyagyam is Vibhishana.
Vakyajna. Okay,
And
okay, you said Vakya.
Vakyakovidaha. Because Yam, Vakyagyam is Dvitiya Vibhakti, is talking about Vibhishana. And Vakyakovidaha is Ramachandra.
Yeah. In both scenarios, when Vibhishana tried to explain Ravana also, Ravana didn't listen to Vibhishana. And here also Vibhishana didn't want to do rituals, but he even if he is Vakyajna, as you said, he tries to listen to the other party also very quietly. He just gives his advice, and he doesn't compel them to listen or something. He just suggests them, right? Vibhishana.
Correct.
Yeah. And he does the way Ravana said he leaves the kingdom. And the second time also here, he just listened to Ramachandra, and he puts his thoughts away and does the rituals for Ravana also.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is also a very important aspect, right? To put away our thoughts and listen to the other person, even if we have our own way of thinking, just not giving such importance to what we want to do. And
if a funeral is
considering the
not
others,
performed, yes, if a funeral is not performed for Ravana, then the preta, the subtle body, suffers severely. And Ramachandra, the one who killed Ravana, did not want further suffering because it was done by. So he said, no, you should perform the funeral. Otherwise, the preta is in very much distress. So, in fact, even if, like Shamkund Prabhu was quoting, even if you don't know who the person is, they're not your relatives, but if the chance is there and you can participate and help perform that funeral, is a act of kindness, but has a great merit in it. Then what to speak of Ravana, Vibhishana's brother. So Ramachandra doesn't hold that grudge, and he's showing that he has no
Mm.
grudge anymore. He doesn't say, oh, this fellow
Yeah.
took my wife away, let him suffer, let that subtle body
Mm.
keep on suffering. No.
Mm.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for
And later also
enriching.
Vibhishana is a king, and he took care of all the widows of Ravana also,
Yeah,
right? In the same
yeah,
kingdom.
yeah, absolutely.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. All right. Any final thoughts before we end? Okay. So thank you very much. May we remember these excellent words of instructions, the Subhashitas of Valmiki Rishi. Because life will test, continues to test, challenge, crush, hit, beat, cajole, all of the things for us in life. And these are the words of great persons like Valmiki Rishi, Vyasadeva, all the acharyas, and our own spiritual masters who repeat the same messages in wonderful different ways. Same message, different words, different contexts, still all of them to soothe our aching, burning, paining hearts. And we take shelter of such great personalities. And it's an honor to be with all of you wonderful devotees. I seek your blessings. Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Go Premanand.